Hello, I'm back. It's been a while. I've been shopping. Haven't done a lot of painting and drawing, but I did go shopping on the last day of 2025. I decided I needed to have one more art shop, and this is my shopping list that I went with. I wanted pipettes, a white Posca, and some granulating medium. As I walked in the door of the art shop, the first thing I saw was this. And I thought it was just wonderful, but I couldn't have it, so I just kept walking. Naturally, of course, I went back for it. I found the granulating medium without too much difficulty. I got the Winsor & Newton granulation medium, which we will use at some point in this video today. I had to ask for assistance, but I found the pipettes eventually. I got a pack of 10. That's how they were sold. I've had 3 of them for about, 11 or 12 years that I've reused over and over again, and I just wanted some new ones. So I've got my pipettes, and I also needed to ask assistance to get the Posca because it was in a locked cabinet. So that was my shopping list completed. But of course that wasn't enough. I needed to go for a wander around the shop, and I bought myself a pack of water paint brushes so I could put different things in them and paint with it. It doesn't have to just be water. And then I went and found some of these pens that are metallic and a white pen. It's a Staedtler white pen. And I wanted some more of these Caran d'Ache luminous pencils, but I'm very nervous of buying them because I've already got about half a dozen of them, and I have a very bad habit of buying the same one again. So I went home and I made a list. I had already tried making a list with just the pencils I've already got, but that didn't work very well. I still managed to get a duplicate. So this is a list that I found a website with them all on it, and I wrote every colour down that the website had, and I crossed out the ones that I had already got, and then I got some more, but that wasn't on that visit. What I bought on this visit was colourless pencil blender, and I got this thing as well, which is supposed to be something similar. It's a full blender, bright, made by Caran d'Ache. So I have to experiment with them. I haven't used them yet, but the thing that got me the most excited was this little Tombow eraser. I'd been trying to buy one of these for years because I love to work with colouring in pencils. I've got a full set of the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, which I have used quite a lot. And it's great to be able to just rub out little bits. I had great difficulty finding them. I did buy a couple of these. That's an eraser with a brush at the end, and it does the job, but it's not really, it's not as good as what I believe this is going to be with that tiny little end on it. See the end coming out there? And of course, before I went and left the shop, I added a little red sketchbook to my collection. And the only thing I've done with it so far is do a little test of one of my luminous Caran d'Ache pencils that I've already got. So that was that first shopping. And then January came and I was sewing clothes for my granddaughter, and I was trying to get her some very cool clothes because it is so hot here in January. I mean, she's only 5 or 6 months old, and she needed some cool clothes to wear, so I was sewing them. Then I got sick and I had 3 weeks in bed with some sort of a flu or a cold or the head cold or something, and that was followed by me then getting so far behind in the sewing. I just focused on sewing until one day I felt I really needed to go shopping for more art materials. The first shopping was to the Art Shed in Brisbane, and then I went to Senior Art, which is a shop which is just down the road from the Art Shed. They're both in a very similar location. And I think I've actually had 2 trips to Senior Art, but I have mixed up the paints that I got on each trip, so we'll just go through them all as though there was just one trip to Senior Art. I bought a pencil as well. I don't quite know what it is. They had them there. It's a Crater Colour Black. Haven't tried it out yet. Now, I liked the look of that colour there, and then I saw the name. It's Michael Harding, and it is Terra Verte Blue Shade. I love Terra Verte, so I thought I'd get that. And then I got a few of the Schimke Horodam super granulating colours, and I got Shire Yellow, Volcano Orange, Volcano Brown, Volcano Violet, Shire Blue and Shire Green. So I'll swatch them for you later in the video. I'll put them aside. In the meantime, I'm sewing madly for my granddaughter, and she's getting older, and I'm getting more and more worried that she's going to grow out of the clothes before I get them to her. A few weeks later, I found that the art shed had a sale on, and I decided to go and check out. I'd been getting notifications of this sale for several weeks, so I didn't expect they would have much left on sale, but I thought I'd go and check it out anyway. And I'd made this list of all of the Caran d'Ache pencils and crossed out the ones that I already had. And now this is actually one of the things that I bought on the first visit. And it was more than 50% off on that day. It's a professional bright maroon. It's a Shimke acrylic ink. And I haven't tried it yet, haven't even opened it yet. You can try that later as well. And then when I went back again, I bought a few things. I thought I'd try putting some of my Shimke super granulating colours into a little palette. I've never bought one of these type of palettes before, and I haven't put anything in there yet, so I'll work out what colours I want, but it'll probably be any of the super granulating colours I've already got. At this point I'm thinking mostly greens and perhaps a couple of blues. I have the entire forest collection and they're mostly all greens. And because I was interested in inks, they had these there on sale. I think I was paid about $20 for a set of acrylic inks from Montmartre. They do those watercolour pads that I usually use to do my swatching for the videos. So I got this whole set for about half of what I paid for that one bottle of acrylic ink that was on sale, hugely reduced. And because I had my list of all the colours I've already got, I bought 6 pencils. They were not on sale, but I bought them anyway. So now I've got about double the amount of pencils that I had before. So I have to swatch these for you as well. This is ice blue and cobalt blue, primrose, sepia, orange, and violet pink. I'm trying to get a variety of colours and tones. So that is my purchases since I last had a video. And now I'm going to have to start swatching. I'll set up for that and come back. I almost forgot my most major purchase. My light broke. This is the light that I use when I'm painting and recording videos and sewing. And you can see the little tabs there where I can hook my camera in and to face down so I can record what I'm doing. And that on its own was more than any single one of my purchases of art materials, but I can't manage without it if I'm going to continue sewing and making art videos. So now I'm going to try with these pens, just to try them out. This is a little black visual diary that I've had for about 30 or more years. I don't remember exactly when I got it, but it was a long time ago and I have never used it. So it's still in quite good condition. And I thought today might be the day to get started. Now this is a new Staedtler metallic pen. Hasn't been used yet. That's nice to use. And a Staedtler gold metallic pen. And this is a calligraphy pen, Deco Colour, opaque paint marker. I need to shake it up a bit before using it. I've got one of these already, I've had it for years, but have never done much with it, so I'm not sure why I bought another one. It smells like it is oil-based, terps or something in there. I think the reason I bought this one was I was just so surprised to see it in the shop. The original purchase was made online through Melbourne Etching Supplies, and that pen had been squashed. The barrel is squashed, but it still works. Just don't use it very often. A Staedtler white pen, the same as the silver and the gold. And the Posca pen. This Posca is a very fine tip and I probably should have pumped it up a bit. I had done that, used it very briefly before, and I just thought it might still be okay, but obviously not. And it looks like I've managed to make it look really thick. At least you get to see what it's supposed to look like when I drew the wriggly line underneath. I'm going to do some more swatching on the black just to see how everything works with the black paper. I'll also use my little red sketchbook to swatch in as well. It's got cream pages. Now I'll try a little bit of this acrylic ink. First time I've had the lid off this. And just see what happens. I've been sewing at this table and all my art supplies have been spread around and moved, and I was having problems finding a suitable paintbrush. I ended up using one that I bought, I think last year sometime, from the Sydney art store, and it's got a silicone tip at the other end, and I think the whole thing was meant to be used for applying masking fluid. But this brush is awesome to use to paint with, so I think maybe I won't be using it for masking fluid, but I'll use the other end. The thing, there's a silicone tip on the other end, one of those things you shape with. Be interesting to see how this looks on the cream paper of the little red book. I don't think it's meant for using with paint. I think it's just a little sketchbook for drawing with pencil. But anyway, we'll give it a go, see what happens. Then I will try this black pencil. This is the Primrose Caran-d'Ache Luminance pencil. We'll try it in the little red sketchbook and then in the black visual diary. It doesn't show up very well on the cream paper, but it is doing quite well, I think, on the black. And the next pencil is sepia. This one is clearly obvious on the cream, but almost invisible on the black. But we'll do it on the black anyway, just so you can see. Cobalt blue is next. I bought 6 Caran-d'Ache Luminance pencils, and we've done 3 now, and there are 3 left to see. The sepia wasn't quite as visible as I thought, and I obviously wasn't thinking very clearly. Just started putting the blue over the top of the sepia for a minute there, but I moved on quickly. The next colour I'm going to use is orange. And the next one is ice blue. And the final Caran d'Ache Luminance pencil we're going to swatch today is violet pink. And I'm very happy and relieved to say that I didn't get any duplicates this time, so the list worked. So it looks to me as though I could use the black paper with the colouring pencils. It's Caran d'Ache Luminous pencils. And the next thing, that hasn't quite dried yet in the book, the next thing I'm going to try is the set of Montmartre inks. I haven't had them open yet either. The first colour is sap green. I shook it up properly. I will shake them all before I use them. I'm hoping to do some artworks. I'll record me doing them. I've got the list of topics for the 2025 Inktober, and I was planning to do that, but I never got the time. Things just kept getting in the way. And I've got one of the sketchbooks that I showed you in the last video set aside for me to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I've got the new inks. And I've also got a large set of extremely outdated professional inks that I've had for about 30 years, and they were outdated when I got them, and I'd like to see if any of them are still usable, and if so I will use them as well as the new inks that I'm showing you today when I start working through the Inktober topics. And this next colour is bright green. And the next one is scarlet. And the next one is orange. They all seem to be very strong, pure, bright colours. To try mixing them when I use them in artwork, see what colours I can get out of them. The next colour is cadmium yellow. That's another nice bright one. And the next one is teal. I haven't forgotten the black book. I am also swatching all of these inks in it, and I'll show you the result when we get through all of the colours. I skipped swatching the white on the cream paper, but then I decided to go back and do it, and it really didn't show very well, did it? The next is phthalo blue, and then we have violet. And the next one is yellow ochre. And then we have burnt umber. It's nice to see some earth tones in amongst the colours. I'm glad I finally managed to move the book up so we could see them all. I was getting a bit worried there. Sorry about that. It's very difficult for me to know what is being recorded by the camera because the light shining down is so bright I can't see what the camera is showing me that it's doing. So there's a lot of guesswork involved in making these videos. And the final colour is black. I suspect that's not going to show up on the black paper, but it could be good for mixtures when I'm actually making some artwork with it. I'll be using much bigger sketchbooks when I do use this for artwork. I have a larger black sketchbook as well as several white or cream coloured sketchbooks, including some watercolour sketchbooks as well. So I got enough, I just don't use them very often. I'm much more likely to just reach for a pad of paper and do a painting or a drawing on that and tear it out and leave it lying around until it eventually gets lost or destroyed. I'm trying to get myself to use sketchbooks where I can go back and see what I've done in the past. Things get preserved a bit better. And here is everything on the little black diary. There's not very much room there, so I haven't added all the information on it that I had in the little red book with the cream pages. It's the next day now and everything has dried overnight, and those inks took quite a while to dry, by the way. The top left ink, of course, is the professional Simke Horodam Bright Maroon, and the other inks are the Montmartre inks, and there's a few coloured pencils up in the top line there. So that is what I swatched yesterday, and now let's have a look at the little black book and see what they look like once they've dried. I've sort of tried to divide them up and name things, but they're very squished in and we don't really see as much on the page. There's the pencils and the other pens up the top, the Simke Horodam Maroon there in its own little square, and then all the Montmartre inks underneath. And I've written their names just in case I need to refer to them again, but now you've seen them both on cream and black paper. Today I'm going to use different paper. This is a small artist watercolour block of the Bohang paper. It's 100% cotton, acid free, and hasn't been used yet. I bought it over a year ago. I got it from Senior Art, which is where I have bought all of the tubes of paint that I'm about to show you. I go to Senior Art to buy Winsor & Newton tubes as well as the super granulating Simke Horodam and the Michael Harding paints. The reason I do that is they have them in the larger sizes, and it's cheaper per gram if you buy it in the larger sizes than the tiny tubes. The reason I try to avoid buying the small tubes apart from the price per gram is that I've got quite a lot of small tubes and I find I try to avoid using them because there's not very much paint in them. I've now completed my collection of the volcano colours. The first colour I'm swatching is Volcano Violet. It's a super granulating colour by Simke Horodam, and I'm using cold pressed, it's artist grade paper. I like that colour. Now I'll just add a little bit of extra water to one edge. Next is Volcano Brown. It's another one of the Simke Horodam super granulating colours. The next colour is Volcano Orange, and that will be the final volcano colour that I'm swatching today. I swatched Volcano Red in the last video, I think, and I've had Volcano Yellow for a year or more. Next, I will swatch a few of the colours from the Simke Horodam Super Granulating Shire set. I've not ever had any of that set before. And the first one is Shire Green, which let out a whole glob of gum arabic. The next colour is Shire Blue. The volcano colours are starting to dry and I can see some granulation in them. That's a bit exciting. And the final Shire colour that I'm swatching today is Shire Yellow. There are still a couple more colours available in this set, and I'll probably get them next time I go shopping, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while. I'm going to do some painting, I think, for the next episode. That looks like the sort of yellow I wanted to use for my black swan signets. I might try that next time I paint them. I'm doing them as a little test because I want to put them on the ground near the parent black swan standing beside them. Next I'll swatch the Michael Harding paint. It is Terra Verte blue shade and it is lightly granulating, but I'm going to try my new granulating medium on it to see if that changes anything. I should have got myself a colour that was not granulating at all to test that granulating medium, but I don't have one in my recent purchases. I'm happy with that colour. It's nothing like what is on the tube though, of course. So here they are somewhat later. Everything except for the Shire yellow has dried. It's still got a very wet patch on it. We can see the granulation quite clearly in most of the Volcano and Shire colours, and the Terra Verte blue shade looks a bit different, but the first version of it shows granulation, but the one that I put a lot of the granulating medium in is definitely different. I don't think that the super granulating colours were very much affected by the addition of some extra granulating medium, and that doesn't matter because I probably wouldn't be trying to use granulating medium with them anyway. I'm happy with the granulation they've already got. Now I am going to paint a picture of a frog. I don't have any reference photo, so I'll be making it up. And I will be restricting myself to only the colours that I have recently purchased and swatched in this video. And it'll be multimedia because I didn't just swatch watercolours. There'll be pencils and all sorts of things used in it. I love working with multimedia. The paper I'm using is the same as the paper that I swatched the watercolours on. I'll need to sketch something first. The pencil I'm using is Caran d'Ache Luminance Pink Violet. So it's not going to look much like an actual frog. We'll just have a little bit of fun and see what happens. It's just a way of using some of the art supplies that I've just recently purchased. It's about 15 years, maybe a bit more now, when I was last doing a lot of work with watercolours, and I had an exhibition of the paintings that I did then and sold a few of them, and it was all multimedia work, and I was mixing Liquitex medium with my watercolours and gouache, and I was also mixing a lot of different coloured glitter in with the paint, and I was gluing objects onto the paintings as well, things like buttons and mirrors and other things. I called it my kitsch exhibition. There were other artists in the exhibition as well, but I was the only one using glitter. This is an example of one of the paintings, and it didn't sell, so I'm enjoying having it hanging on my wall at home. And I spent a lot more time on that piece of art than I'm going to be spending on my little frog today. I'm planning to do a large oil painting, and it's going to have birds in it. It's set at the lake, and so in the next few videos I will be practicing doing little watercolours of the various birds that I want in that painting. I've got the reference photos that I took a few years ago, and I'll be using them to paint and draw a few noisy miners and crested pigeons. And I'll continue to work with the black swans as well. I haven't been practicing drawing frogs, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but it'll be interesting. We're starting out with one of Caran d'Ache Luminose pencils to draw an outline. It's going to be a green frog, so I'll use the Shire green watercolour to make him go green. I'll try to use most of the watercolours that we've just swatched, and I will also use the red ink to give him a red mouth, and I'll finish off with some of the primrose to give the frog a lighter coloured chest. as frogs do tend to have a pale coloured chest. I have a photo somewhere that I took years ago of a frog sitting on a glass window, so it's from the underside of the frog. I'll have to dig that out one day and see if I can do something with it. Unfortunately, the camera ran out of batteries towards the end and I didn't notice that. At the end of the video I will show you the frog after I'd finished him today, and then another picture of what I did with him a few days later, because I thought he was a bit boring when I finished him from this session of painting. And I used some of my other pencils and things that I had already swatched today. So I didn't use everything that I swatched today, but I tried to use a fair bit of it and I didn't add anything else into the picture. Now we'll just play some music for a little while I continue to paint. I sped up all of my painting sessions today in this video. The swatching was mostly sped up 100%, and the frog painting is sped up to 300%, and finally this part of it is sped up to 400%. Just to get the video not being quite so long, so I don't really move the paintbrush quite this fast. It's 400% sped up at this section of the painting. And this is where the camera ran out of batteries and shut itself down. Next you will see where I got to before I noticed that it had shut down, and I'd finished painting for the day by then. And then I will show you a picture of what I did to him a couple of days later. I still only used the art materials that I swatched in this video. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll get back to you with another one shortly. And if you have enjoyed it, it'd be great if you could give it a like and subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of my artworks. And anyone who has already subscribed, thank you, because I will continue to do things. I'm planning to do another walk around the lake shortly, so I might be making another video from the walk around the lake, just showing photos of the birds, because there's a lot of birds at the lake. This is the final version of the frog. I put primrose pencil on his chest, and under his chin there is some of the white Posca, I think, and then green coloured pencil. I fiddled around with him a bit, and I put a bug on the stalk that I drew it coming out of his hat. Bye bye for now. Thank you for watching.